Hello everyone, dear students. Today I am going to demonstrate a very important topic of cell biology, and that is cell surface membrane. Okay, before going to our main topic, first I want to describe the concept of organelle. What is organelle? Actually, organelle is a are subcellular structures in the cell, but and they have they perform specific functions. We can call organelle if these cellular structures have two specific perform specific function. First, if they are double membrane, and the other one is they perform specific function. If these two properties are part of that cellular structure, then we can call it organelle. So the question arises: Can we call cell surface membrane as an organelle? Actually, cell surface membrane is not an organelle, but we consider it because it performs a specific function. So that's why I called it organelle. Okay, now move to the move to our main topic: cell surface membrane. Okay, cell surface membrane is actually a very thin structure, about 10 nanometer thick, present outside the cell, and it is present in both eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. So, despite it is very thin. As I told you, it is about less than 10 nanometer thick, and it is very thin. It is strong enough to maintain the integrity of the cell. Means it maintain the structure of cell. So, and it surrounds the cell and holds the cell contents together, because in this if this is a cell, this is the surface membrane. Okay, and all the contents, all other organelles, all other cellular structures are present within the cell surface membrane. So that's why we call it hold the cell content together. So the membrane and this membrane act as a barrier, controlling the movement of substances into and out of the cell. Actually, all substances have to entering or leaving the cell must pass through this membrane. So we can say that it is just like a gatekeeper. So it has the authority to allow the substances to move in inside the cell or move outside the cell. So it is a very important function of cell surface membrane. Okay, moving ahead. The membrane provides the identity of the cell, allowing surrounding cells to recognize it, because this surface has surface marker. Each cell has own surface markers. So if any other uh, pathogens like bacteria or virus want to enter the cell, the immune system will recognize it and kill them. If the cells of the if the surface marker will recognize the cells of their own body, then the immune system will not attack on these cells. So that's why we can say that it provides the identity of the cell, allowing the surrounding cells to recognize it. And other it is the surface where chemical signals interact with the cell, which is hormones, growth factors. Because on the cell surface membrane there are receptors, and these receptors get signals from other cells like hormones or growth factors. So and it will create a cell communication. We will discuss cell communication in upcoming videos in detail. So the movement of molecules across the membrane is a continuous and very active. Actually, the cell surface membrane is not static. It is not a static. It is a dynamic. So, okay. And you can see this. It is a diagram of cell surface membrane. And here, different functions of surface membranes are mentioned, like movement, water uptake, like water molecules are moving inside and outside of the cells through cell surface membrane, or exchange of gases, respiration, very important. It also allows the exchange of gases. O2 have to enter the cell and CO2 move out of the cell. Then one is nutrition. Nutrition, sugar, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, all are move in and out of the cell according to necessity. And have to also move in and out. Cell also excrete waste material like ammonia, urea that are present in animals, and a cell wall. Actually, it is especially for plant cells. It is actually present outside the cell surface membrane. So the components like cellulose, hemicellulose are assembled to make plant cell outside the cell surface membrane. And the hair is procollagen, and it is assembled into collagen fibers outside the mammalian cells. So, and the enzymes, the neurotransmitter substances are have also perform any movement. Okay, so now moving to the structure of cell surface membrane. How this cell surface membrane is formed. Okay, first the structure of phospholipid. Actually, cell surface membrane contain a phospholipid molecules, and these phospholipid molecules has two main parts. First is hydrophilic head, and the other one is hydrophobic tails. So, if I talk about hydrophilic head, hydrophilic means water loving. So, it actually attract towards water, and this head contain glycerol and ionized phosphate group. So, this head actually made up of glycerol and ionized phosphate group. So, what are the properties? They are hydrophilic, water loving, and it form hydrogen bond with water molecules. This allows the head to interact with the aqueous environment of cell. So, and the next one is hydrophobic tails. The hydrophobic means water repelling, water hating. You can say that it don't like water. So, and what it contains? The tail consists of two fatty acid chains made up of hydrocarbon chains. So, it actually contains fatty acid chains and hydrocarbon chains. And what are the properties? They are hydrophobic, means water repelling. It repels the water, move away from the water, and avoid contact with water. So, here I will show you the structure. So, this is the structure of phospholipid molecule. You can see it. A hydrophobic tail which repels water, and it means it moves in away from the water. And this is a hydrophobic head which attracts towards water. This is a water, and head is attracted towards water. So the phospholipid molecule in contact with water form a monolayer with heads dissolved in water and the tail sticking outwards. Means you can say it form a monolayer with water, and the tails are moving outside, sticking outwards. So here you can see when mixed with water, phospholipid molecules arrange themselves into a bilayer in which hydrophobic tails are attached to each other. Means the head moves outward, attract with the water here, and the both tails are move inward and attach with each other. Actually, they are trying to avoid the water. That's why they they are on the inside. That's why provide the water to prevent the water. So another important property of cell surface membrane, it is amphipathetic nature. Means it has a component that are hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Both types of components are present. That's why we can say that amphipathetic nature. A hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. They are called amphipathetic molecules. This property is essential for forming the phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid with bilayer is formed because of these two properties, hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tails. Okay. I hope you are getting it. If there is any question, you can comment. You can comment, and I will explain. Okay. The other components, molecular components of cell membrane. The main components of cell membranes are lipids, proteins, and small amount of carbohydrates. And all these components perform different functions. So the major component is a lipid. The main lipid present in cell membrane is phospholipid. We already talked about phospholipid. These phospholipid form the basic structure of the membrane. Like we can already discuss that they form head towards the water and tail. This is the basic structure of cell surface membrane. And the other is role of protein. Membrane proteins are present within the membrane and perform many functions. So actually proteins they are of different types. I will discuss it later in this video. And the main function is actually transportation of substances. They help the substance to transport, move in and out of the cell. They are also acting as an enzymes or acting as a receptor. Like I already told you, the cell surface actually contain the receptors that help in communication. So this is the main function of the proteins, means in transportation, in acting as an enzyme, or in cell communication. Okay. The next is here discuss different properties of cell surface membrane. I already told you it has amphipathetic nature. Phospholipid has a hydrophilic head, water attracting, and hydrophobic tail. So this property is called amphipathetic nature, amphipathetic property. So the other is behavior on surfaces. What is the behavior, cell surface membrane? How it behaves in different surfaces. On solid surface, like glass, phospholipid remain as a droplet. They do not spread. Like if we spread the drop of oil on the solid surface, it will drop on a it will drop on the surface and it will not spread. But on water, a tiny drop of phospholipid spreads and form a monolayer. Means if we drop any droplet of oil on the water, it will spread. And this contact is also talking about this. On water, a tiny droplet of phospholipid spread will form a monolayer. Head face water and tail point away from water. Okay. There is micelle formation. What is micelle formation? Actually, when more phospholipid is shaken in water, micelles can form. Like teeny spherical structures. How it form? Teeny spherical structures. A head face outward and hydrophobic tail face inward. Like this. This we can say that this is a micelle formation. Like the more from the teeny spherical structures, these teeny spherical structures are formed like head face water and tail face move away from water. Okay, and here is the formation of bilayer. In cell membrane, phospholipid array into a bilayer. Hydrophilic tail face each other inside, and hydrophilic head face water on both sides. This arrangement creates a stable, strong barrier around the cell. And there is role of cholesterol. This bilayer contains cholesterol molecules also, and it affects the flexibility and stability of the cell membrane. It helps the cell to stay stable and flexible. So this is the main function of cholesterol. Okay, I already talked about protein. Actually, there are two types of protein that are present in the cell membrane: integral protein or peripheral protein. Actually, integral protein is fully embedded in the lipid bilayer, but and it can span the membrane. But peripheral protein, it is superficially attached to the surface of membrane. It does not, it does not, isn't fully embedded in the cell surface membrane. So I already talked about its function, transport, enzyme, receptors means communication, antigens means help to recognize the cell signaling and communication. Okay. Another one is carbohydrate. Carbohydrates in cell membrane. Carbohydrates are short chain polysaccharides found only on the outer surface of the membrane. So the glycoproteins, there are different types. Glycoprotein carbohydrates are actually present in the form of glycoproteins and glycolipids. Carbohydrates that are attached to the protein are called glycoproteins, and the carbs that are attached to the lipid are called glycolipid. Function of glycocalyx. It is actually a carbohydrate. Cell to cell recognition means I already talked about cell surface marker to recognize its own cells or other pathogens. Receptor science means chemical signaling, assist in tissue formation by helping cell stick together. When two or more cells are attached, stick to each other, they form tissue. And carbohydrates help them to stick with each other. So this is the topic. This is our main topic. I hope you will understand it. If there is any question, leave in comment. I will reply to you.